All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about the lightweight division, Gervonta Tank Davis, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Vasyl Lomachenko, and a bit of George Kambosos, and how Gervonta Davis is pushing to get the Vasyl Lomachenko fight, and how that very well may be for undisputed. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We're going to talk about the second best division in boxing, the lightweight division, the 135-pound division, and who I believe to be the best fighter in that division, Gervonta Tank Davis, and what he is trying to accomplish. The rumors have it with Floyd Mayweather Jr. for a fight with Vasyl Lomachenko, and the pressure building up around that for Team Gervonta. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channels as subscribers. Greatly appreciate you guys and all the support that you give Sunday through Friday on the live streams we do at 8 a.m. Also, thank you for supporting over at BUSR. We got great promotions over there. Just follow Fanon, busr.ag/Fanon. If you're wagering on March Madness coming up, we got a lot of promotions over there. So let's get into this. All right, so the word is Gervonta Davis is getting more and more restless and more irritated with the talk about him not fighting top competition, and he wants to get the fight done with Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, this is something that a lot of people criticize Gervonta Tank Davis for, saying that, he's not fighting anybody. He's not, he needs to fight Devin Haney. He needs to fight George Kambosos. He needs to fight, pretty much everybody. Ryan Garcia needs to fight Teofimo Lopez, right? And that pretty much putting a mark on this man's career, saying that he's not fighting the top-notch fighters in his division. Now, what he has said in the past is that he himself, that he wants to fight these guys. Calvin Ford has also come out and said, look, that they've been waiting and been wanting the Gervonta Tank Davis fight. The Vasyl Lomachenko fight. There's also the head trainer for Headbangers Gym, that for some reason I always forget the man's name. Dark-skinned dude, bald head. Barry Hunter, there you go. That's my cue words to bring Barry Hunter's name back into this old brain of mine. Just recently said the other day that that's who Gervonta Davis wants to fight, and that they're ready for that fight. And whenever they get that fight, the only thing that he can really do is fight who they put in front of him. Calvin Ford again said, look, we've been waiting on that fight. Gervonta Davis took to his Twitter and had one of those, usual cryptic texts, right? Where, people are always going to have to wonder what it is that he means, what he's talking about. But this particular text came out and he said, that he will turn his back on people before you fold again. Don't know what that means. If I had to relate that to basketball, to boxing and the things that he's talking about in boxing, I would hope that what he's talking about is Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Leonard Ellerbe and these guys, and them not getting him that big fight that is really going to get his name out there as big as it can be. And that is either the George Kambosos fight or the Vasyl Lomachenko fight. And this is something that is very, very reasonable, and something that is coming up fast, and it is pretty much I'm not going to say it's unavoidable, because people will find a way to avoid a lot of stuff that you think is unavoidable. But if what is being reported is true, this is a fight that should not go past, right? Shouldn't either Vasyl Lomachenko or George Kambosos is going to be on the table for Gervonta Davis this time next year, if not by the end of this year. So what that is, the reason that I say that is because, first, if Vasyl Lomachenko fights George Kambosos and Vasyl Lomachenko wins that fight, there will be according to the reports, there will be a rematch for that fight in Australia. What they say is a highly lucrative rematch for George Kambosos. So if Vasyl Lomachenko wins, he wins the first one. He's going to have to win 2 fights in Australia to make the fight, to be able to be free to fight other people. If George Kambosos beats Vasyl Lomachenko, he may have an option for a rematch. That's not clear whether or not, George Kambosos also gave Vasyl Lomachenko a rematch, which would pretty much just lock in a 2-fight deal. And for people that say, that's not always that people don't do that. That's not the case. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder gave Tyson Fury a rematch clause in the first fight. Tyson Fury could have after he got that draw in the first fight, he could have elected and said, "Hey man, I want a rematch clause. I want a rematch." But it was Deontay Wilder, who was the champion, that exercised his rematch clause and said, "I want to run it back with Tyson Fury." So nothing is impossible contractually, between two people in that situation, as long as it's not something that's illegal. Ain't nothing illegal about that. The only issue is whether or not the organizations that push the mandatories, whether or not they would be okay with that. And therein lies the reason that I'm saying that Gervonta Davis is going to be able to get those fights, because the WBA should very well order the winner of however that works out to fight Gervonta Davis next, because Gervonta Davis is the WBA regular. He's the WBA regular champion, and he has a mandatory fight coming up with Rolly Romero. But the reason why they're ordering that is that they're ordering a consolidation of belts for the WBA. So just like at 147 pounds, Errol Spence Jr., the winner of Errol Spence Jr. versus Yordenis Ugas at 147 pounds is going to have to fight the winner of Butiev versus Stanosis, the winner of Butiev versus Stanosis, who are fighting each other for the WBA regular belt. That is a mandatory that is going to be on there because they've been ordered by the ABC, the Association of Boxing Commissions, to reduce the number of belts that they have. So that situation should also apply to the 135-pound division. So there's no reason why Gervonta Davis can't make that fight with either one of those for the undisputed title of the world. And this is something where Gervonta Davis is, he needs that fight. He needs that fight, and I don't think that there's any reasonable way for Mayweather and those guys to say that they don't want that fight. And it would be time to put Gervonta in a situation where he really does have something major to win. One of the things that you hear Leonard Ellerby saying, I understand where he's coming from. I understand where Floyd's coming from, saying, look, man, these fights down there lightweight are not necessarily the big money fights. They're not as big as people think they are. And we're really trying to make big fights, right? But at the same breath, Floyd Mayweather talks about the records that he has and how many world champions that he's beaten and all of the things that he's done, the accolades that he's done in boxing. Gervonta Davis deserves to be put in the same situation as that, and to have an opportunity to fight for undisputed against a guy like Vasyl Lomachenko, or beat up a guy like George Kambosos for that belt. But, that's a huge fight for him monetarily. It's a huge fight for him in his career. And it's something that's going to make his fights even bigger and make the future fights that he have worth more money, because he's somebody that would have proved that he's the best in that division. And since he's not going up to 140 pounds and fighting with any regularity at 140 or at 147 anytime soon, they probably just need to go ahead and do what Gervonta Davis wants and give this guy the opportunity to have these fights so he can shut the mouths of a lot of people that are acting like he really doesn't want anything. But anyway, so that's the word that they're pushing on him, that this is the particular situation. Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions may not necessarily want to do that because it seems like they do have a formula that they're going through, an in-house formula that they're going through with Gervonta Davis. I don't know if that is for money reasons or whatever, but anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.